Passert new updated Citrix CCEV 1Y0-403 dumps gives you confidence to pass the Citrix 1Y0-403 exam with maximized score in your first attempt. We ensure you study the latest 1Y0-403 questions and answers, which will help you to be prepared for clearing the Citrix 1Y0-403 exam in the shortest possible time. Question 1. Scenario. A planning document for deploying a new Citrix virtual apps and desktop site specifies that it will be created with one site and different zones in each of 3 regions. The IT team expects that each zone will host 825 concurrent user sessions, with no more than 28 concurrent session launches. What is the minimum acceptable site-to-site bandwidth required between the primary zone and a satellite zone? A. 1 kilobit per second. B. 200 megabits per second. C. 2 megabits per second. D. 8 gigabits per second. Answer. C. Question 2. Scenario. A Citrix architect is assessing an existing infrastructure for a company that has storage challenges as a result of hyper-growth. They currently have a large IT infrastructure that consists of 15 hypervisor hosts and more than 200 virtual machines, VMs, worldwide. Management has advised the architect that they need to improve their storage infrastructure to include high performance and scalability. Which storage solution should the architect implement within this infrastructure? A. DOS. B. SAN. C. NAS. D. Local. Answer. B. Question 3. Scenario. A Citrix architect is designing a new Citrix virtual apps and desktop service environment in Citrix Cloud. During the kickoff meeting, management advised that they need a robust, scalable image provisioning strategy that allows for easy image and application maintenance to deploy a large number of applications to users. This should include company-wide applications and departmental applications to be used only by specific sets of users. Some applications will require run-once scripts at system startup for product licensing. Which image provisioning strategy should the architect use for this deployment? A. Application layering. B. Machine creation services, MCS. C. Manual provisioning. D. Citrix provisioning, PVS. Answer. D. Question 4. Scenario. A Citrix architect is designing a new Citrix virtual apps and desktops environment. Management has requested dynamic distribution of users between the primary and backup data centers to ensure that all available hardware is utilized during normal operations. What is the biggest risk the architect should highlight to the customer when designing the profile strategy? A. Scale-out file servers are required to support active-active profile deployments. B. Using Microsoft Distributed File System Replication, DFSR, to replicate user profiles requires significant bandwidth. C. Replicating profiles between the two data centers will double storage costs. D. Roaming profiles are not supported in active-active Microsoft Distributed File System Replication, DFSR, deployments? Answer: B. Question 5. Scenario: the IT team of a company configured its Citrix environment on Microsoft Azure. Load on the servers is nominal during the off-season, but during peak season, load increases on the infrastructure servers. This load varies from year to year. A Citrix architect is asked to design a solution that dynamically increases and decreases the number of infrastructure servers. What should the architect recommend the IT team create in Microsoft Azure to meet this demand? A. Availability sets. B. Resource group. C. Scale sets. D. Availability domains. Answer: C. Question 6. Scenario: a Citrix architect is designing a new Citrix virtual apps and desktops environment. As part of the graphics mode design considerations, the architect determined that one user group requires pixel-perfect images at all times. Which graphics mode should the architect recommend be configured for this specific group? A. Visual quality equals always lossless. B. Optimize for 3D graphics workload equals enabled. C. Optimize for 3D graphics workload equals disabled. D. Visual quality equals build to lossless. Answer: B. Question 7. Scenario: a Citrix architect is designing a new Citrix virtual apps and desktops environment. Two control layer security requirements have been identified. Secure XML traffic between storefront and the delivery controller using SSL. Secure ticket authority, STA, traffic must be protected with SSL. Which three tools can the architect use to ensure that all security requirements are met? Choose 3. A. Citrix Studio Console. B. Internet Information Services, IIS. C. Citrix Director Console. D. Citrix Storefront Console. E. NetSH, Command Line. Answer: B, D, E. Question 8. Scenario: a Citrix architect is using LDAP as single-factor authentication, SFA. The architect is migrating the environment to Citrix Cloud and wants to retain the same authentication procedure for Citrix virtual apps and desktop service in Citrix Cloud. Which deployment strategy should the architect use for the access layer to ensure that the solution reduces management and does not incur additional costs? A. Use Citrix Cloud Gateway Service and Citrix Cloud Workspace. B. Set up Citrix ADC with Bring Your Own License, BIOL, and Storefront in a public cloud. C. Set up Citrix ADC VPX and Storefront on premises. D. Use Citrix Cloud Gateway Service and on-premises Storefront. Answer: C. Question 9. Scenario: a Citrix architect is designing a new Citrix virtual apps and desktops environment. The architect's objective is to create a configuration to automatically reroute network traffic to the second NIC within the bond. The goal is to avoid a loss of productivity should the primary Citrix hypervisor host NIC fail. Each hypervisor currently consists of a single, active 10 GB NIC and a second, dormant 1 GB NIC. Which two network interface configurations should the architect implement? Choose two. A. Active-passive, LACP. B. Active-active, SLB. C. NIC teaming bonding. D. Active-active, LACP. Answer. A, C. Question 10. Scenario. A Citrix architect is designing a new Citrix virtual apps and desktops environment. While performing a capabilities assessment of the existing infrastructure, it was discovered that there are issues with load balancing users, and that the existing load balancing hardware is outdated. Which capability risk will the architect need to investigate to address these issues? A. Windows Server and Active Directory, AD, environments. B. Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops environments. C. Network Architecture. D. Access Infrastructure. Answer. D.